having a lovely morning. Kate just arrived. We're in Houston together for 2 days, not quite 2 days, well, about 2 days. And I've had I watched some random video the other day, and it had a real effect on me. It sort of like, I sometimes get this sense that like, it's just so interesting when the right information kind of hits you and resonates, because it was a video about gratitude practice, and for whatever reason it sort of flashed for me how significant that is and how that really wants to be a regular practice. Now, I have lots of practices. I'm a practice fiend, as my daughter would say. Annalise loves to say that she's a French fry fiend or a something or other fiend. I wonder where she got that term. But I'm a practice fiend, so I love practices. I love regular disciplines that give me a sense of progress and that give me a sense of having some, I think, exerting some measure of control over my own development, my own evolution. So this idea of a gratitude practice, all of a sudden, and then I found it strange because I've mentioned, I've talked about gratitude on this post so many times, and I've even talked about having a practice of checking in with the various things in life that we're grateful for. But somehow this random video the other day, which wasn't even a very good video, was the one that kind of really sparked for me how important this is. And it reminded me also then that I started to kind of rifle back through the last couple weeks of posts, and like for where I was, the one where I talked about my pool shark parable, where if we could really imagine stepping into every moment as though it's a fresh start, right? Like the lay of the land, the circumstances of our life, everything we're given, all our relationships, everything that is, if we could just imagine that being given to us from nothing, the alternative being, not being alive, and then we look at this set of circumstances, there's a sort of amazing gratitude that shows up. For me anyway, it kind of freshens everything. It's like I think it's that definitive break with the past. It's that willingness to drop the history and drop the expectations that kind of came, that we may have built up, and that this present moment may be in some ways laden with, because we were expecting a different set of circumstances, or we were hoping to be further along this path, or something happened out of the blue and it wasn't what we wanted, whatever it is, whatever our wherever we are in this journey of life, as far as like what we feel is going well or not well, all of that kind of gets, it's like chink, move it off the table and just look at what is, and then engage from there. Engage as though that were a totally fresh start. It's just such a beautiful. It's hard not to be instantly grateful. And so I've really kind of caught myself in the last couple of days when I've had other thoughts, when I've had thoughts about, whatever frustrations are coming up, whatever I might be nitpicking in my mind, whatever fear might be coming up, really settling into gratitude. I tried to. There was something this morning I was thinking about, and I instantly forced myself to reverse it. I was like, okay, what if I take this situation and I flip it, and I just, even though I don't feel gratitude when I think about it, what if I just conjure gratitude for it, and I assume, it's like assuming best intentions. We talk about assuming best intentions in our relationships and in our collaborative work. Even when there's friction in our relationships, we still assume best intentions. We assume the other person is there doing their best. And this is like assuming best intentions on the part of the universe, or on the part of the divine. It's assuming that this whole situation, that what this is right now, this conflict, this argument I'm having, is something if I could properly understand it, I would be grateful for it. And so I just kind of imposed that. I sort of flipped it, and instantly, so what happened, not only did it kind of like, it didn't necessarily completely reframe that situation, although it did, but it took the heat out of it, took all the emotional heat out of it. And furthermore, that circumstance that I was thinking about, before, when I was in frustration, it was like my focus was being wrapped tightly into this particular thing that I was fixated on. Gratitude released that. And so now, not only was I kind of feeling differently about this moment, the bigger effect was that it took my focus out, and now it was like a ripple effect. It was almost like that sort of like fixed, that tension point was like a drop, or like a rock that got dropped into a lake, and then the ripples just went out in all directions, and and now I'm feeling gratitude for all these other aspects of my life, some of which were related, some of which were completely unrelated. But the overall effect was just to put me in a totally different state. It was like now I was in a place of receiving everything, receiving these circumstances a little more as they are given to me. This moment here, this reality as it is, severing some of those expectations and some of those preconceptions. And like I said, this video the other day really kind of got me doing this every morning and every evening, because I've been thinking about how I could tell that I need an evening routine, especially on days when I've been working really hard, when there's been something where I'm very in my mind is very activated. I can tell, like, I need some sort of evening routine where I can put that down. And what this video pointed out to me was that thing is gratitude. That practice. If you want to put down your day, if you want to be able to say good night to your day, let's try gratitude. Because again, like what I described a minute ago, where the effect, it wasn't just that it reframed that situation, and it's not like it changed it. It doesn't have to mean that, like, we don't still have, we don't have to pretend to feel good about something that we don't feel good about. It's not about that. But gratitude sort of releases the tension, because it expands our perspective. It's like it changes the level on which we're perceiving. And again, like what I was saying a moment ago, the effect was much more pronounced on my whole psyche than it was just on that event. The effect on my whole psyche was it put everything. It's almost like I was being blown back, sitting back from the screen all of a sudden, and I could see all these different things that were on the screen, and I just relaxed into a place where I was kind of at peace with everything, that's why I was, as an evening practice, as a way of putting down the day. I just thought that was potentially a really powerful practice, and I found it to be really effective the last couple days. So I'm offering that, and I'm discovering that. But yeah, gratitude, where it's at. And Katie and I have 2 days. Our daughter's in New Mexico. It's a little scary, but it's also kind of exciting. We haven't had that since she was born. So it's going to be fun. Thanks for watching, folks. Much love. I appreciate you. Have a great day. I'll see you soon.